Welcome to ARW. I'm Harold, and today we're going to do a review on the Feyachi sight pusher tool. Now, what this tool is used for is to remove the front or rear sight from firearms, and it certainly makes an easy job of it. I've seen people use a punch and a hammer and mess things up, really scar things up. This will get around all that stuff, and it'll do it nice and easy, and you can put the sight back in any position you want to with no real effort. So let's take a look at what we've got, and then we'll talk about it, and we'll show it hooked up to a sight. Okay, so here you are. You're a pistol owner. You've got the standard non-adjustable sight, and I say non-adjustable because it doesn't have a little screw on it to change it. So it can be adjusted for windage, and that's something that takes a little bit of doing. If you've noticed that that sight is in a tight fit dovetail, it's sort of an interference fit, and without special tools, it's hard to do. Well, what we've got here today is a special tool that'll actually make it rather easy, and you can fiddle with it and change it and make small incremental changes, or you can take the thing off entirely and change it. Now, a lot of guys, they bought their first pistol and it had this, what I would call, fixed sights. So they looked at it and they saw that their buddy George over there, he's got one that's adjustable for elevation and windage. So they went down to the store and they bought one, and they've gone home, and that fixed sight's on there pretty tight. How are we going to do this without messing things up? Well, you could take it to a gunsmith, and I honestly don't know how much a gunsmith would charge you to do that job, but I do know we've got a tool right here that'll do it. You can own the tool, you can change as many sights as you want to, you just have to make one payment, That's a lot better than waiting for maybe weeks or months for an overworked, gunsmith to get around to changing your sight for you. Let's take a closer look at it. Alright, before we get started with this, let's go over a few things to check before we do anything. The first thing is, when you start to handle your firearm, make sure that it's unloaded. Alright? And then when you're ready to remove the slide, make sure you know how to remove the slide. Alright? Once you've got the slide out, you've taken the pieces out, like the recoil spring and the barrel and such things as that, then you're ready to start working with this tool. But there's a few things we should point out with the tool. One of the first things you should do when you take this tool out of the box is to check that these screws are tightened down. They may be loose, and you don't want them really loose because there's no need in that. Alright, once you've got this tool, you can make note of the fact there's rubber here, rubber there, and rubber down here on the bottom of this little platform. This platform can come down even further than the adjustment of the wheel. You can push it down, way down, so that you can get at everything you need to get at. Okay? If you go to work on your sight and you've got your slide in here, and you start pushing it, and you start to run out of room on one side or the other, take these little guys on the side and readjust them. Move this one over, move this one over. Now then, you've got a lot more room to push the sight off your slide. Just little things like this will make your life more pleasant. If what you're doing is not replacing the sight, but you're just sighting the gun in to be more accurate, pay attention to these numbers back here beside the block, the pushing block. You can use them as an indication of how far you've moved the sight. Write it down. Don't try to remember it, just write it down. Alright? Now this little guy here, this screw here, he raises and lowers this table. When you screw him down this direction, he's bringing the table upwards. It might seem kind of opposite to what you'd think is normal, but that's what happens. You screw this guy down, and he pushes the table here upwards. Alright? This guy right here, he moves the sight pushing tool one side to the other, and you can take your sight off to either side of the slide that you feel like, unless you have some slide that has to come off on one particular direction. I don't know. There may be some, you know, some companies that make the thing with a tighter dovetail on one side than on the other. I wouldn't think so, but you never know. Strange things always happen. Okay? Now then, what we can do, I'll put the slide in here and we'll take a look at it. Alright, I've put the slide in there in a manner that would be acceptable for adjusting the rear sight or moving it. You can see that the sides of this guy, they will come right over and touch the sight. If you keep moving, they'll move the sight. You've got a scale back here to know how far you moved it. In this case, I put 0 right in the middle of my sight there, but you could put any number there, line up with any number to help you get it right. Now turn the little wheel down until it pushes the platform up to hold my slide nice and solid. Okay? This is a very simple operation. Now one of the things you'll want to do before you get into pushing on these sights, you want to take your slide. An important thing before you get started working on this side is to look underneath and to the side and see, is there a roll pin or a screw or something holding the sight in position. Say your front sight, is there a roll pin or a screw, something up underneath there holding that sight in position? Know what the situation is before you start pushing away on that thing, so that you don't go and mangle something that you didn't see there, that you didn't know was down there. Alright? This is a very easy to use tool. It's very adjustable. It takes all the bad out of changing your sights, and it'll last you the rest of your life. It's well made, it's solid, and I can't imagine anybody ever wearing one out unless maybe you're a really busy gunsmith who specializes in changing sights. Alright folks, so I think that we've seen a pretty good tool here, and the last thing in this review is going to be a picture of the special offer that the Feyachi people are offering for a couple of days. So it'll be their poster, that'll be the last thing you see in the video, and that's coming up next.